Welcome to another deep dive, everybody. Today, we're going to be looking at the life and work of Dr. Robert Dooling, a renowned scientist who studies bird communication.
Okay.
We've got two really interesting sources for this one.
Oh.
A biographical sketch of Dr. Dooling and his official university research page.
Awesome.
So prepare to really kind of rethink what you think about bird brains.
I think that's what's so cool about this deep dive.
Yeah.
Is that we really get to see how like a childhood passion can turn into a whole career.
Absolutely.
I mean, in his case, it's not just any career. It's like really pushing the boundaries of what we know about animal communication.
Yeah. And speaking of childhood passion, this biographical sketch kicks off with young Bobby and his parakeet Petey.
Petey the parakeet.
And apparently this bird was quite the character.
Oh, really?
Imagine a parakeet strutting down the dinner table.
Oh, wow.
Like he owns the place.
That's so funny. I mean, it makes you think, right?
Yeah.
Like having that constant interaction with a creature that's so intelligent and so demonstrably intelligent really sets the stage for someone like that.
Yeah, totally.
Like growing up with this constant source of wonder.
Absolutely.
Right there in your living room.
It wasn't just Petey.
Yeah.
The sketch also talks about how Bobby rescued this injured pigeon. He even spent all of his savings on a tiny little splint for its broken claw.
So dedicated.
I know.
I mean, that speaks volumes at such a young age. It's not just about liking birds.
Right.
You know, he's got this empathy, this drive to understand them.
Yeah.
I think that definitely hints at something deeper.
Absolutely. And speaking of going above and beyond, enter the pigeon coop.
Oh, wow.
This elaborate setup in his parents' garage.
Hold on. Did he even ask permission for that?
Filled with 10 pigeons.
Oh, my God.
Let's just say his parents were probably a little surprised.
Yeah, probably.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Inspired by that rescued pigeon's homing abilities, Bobby starts teaching his new flock how to navigate back home from miles away.
So he's going from just like keeping pigeons to like early scientific exploration.
It is early scientific exploration.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So it's like that childhood fascination with pigeons finding their way home. I wonder if that sparked a curiosity about bird navigation in general.
Yeah.
Birds use all kinds of things to orient themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Sound cues, landmarks, maybe even the Earth's magnetic field.
It's all connected.
It's crazy.
It is. That makes me think about, my own childhood obsessions.
Right.
Maybe not quite as scientific, but they definitely shaped my interests later in life.
Totally.
I wonder if all of us have those parallels between how we learn and explore as kids and how that translates into more like formal learning and research.
Yeah, it makes me think of Dr. Dooling's later research
into
comparative psychoacoustics.
Okay, break that down for me.
So imagine you're trying to understand what it's like to be a bat.
Okay.
Using echolocation or a dolphin.
Right.
Communicating through clicks and whistles.
Yeah.
That's what comparative psychoacoustics is all about.
Okay.
Exploring how different animals use sound to experience the world.
So he's going from watching pigeons fly home to like the actual mechanisms of how birds hear and use sound to communicate.
Yeah, and it goes way beyond just pigeons at this point.
Okay.
He's interested in how birds learn their songs, how hearing loss affects their communication,
right?
Even whether birdsong has a kind of grammar.
Wait, birdsong with grammar?
Or structure.
Okay, hold on.
Similar to human language.
Give me some examples of this grammar.
Okay, so think of it this way.
Okay.
Instead of like words and sentences, birds use specific sequences of notes and calls.
Yeah.
Dr. Dooling is looking at whether there are rules or patterns to how they arrange these sounds.
Okay.
Kind of like how we have rules for constructing sentences.
Oh, wow.
It's really fascinating.
It is fascinating.
I mean, it's really a mind-boggling area of research.
Yeah.
We're just starting to understand how complex bird communication really is. And, this whole idea of birdsong structure ties into another fascinating aspect of Dr. Dooling's work.
Okay.
His research into the impact of hearing loss on birds.
It's heartbreaking to think about.
Yeah.
Like a bird losing its hearing.
Right.
Not being able to hear its song or the calls of its flock.
Exactly. And it really underscores just how crucial hearing is for their survival.
Right.
Especially in a world that's so full of auditory information.
Yeah, how does he even study that?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
It's not like they can tell him what they're experiencing.
Yeah, yeah.
His team uses some pretty sophisticated techniques.
Okay.
Like measuring the electrical activity in a bird's brain.
Wow.
In response to sound.
So like an EEG for the auditory system?
It's kind of like that, yeah.
It's so cool.
It lets them see how the brain is processing different sounds.
It makes me wonder if studying bird hearing could help us better understand our own auditory systems.
You're right on.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of why Dr. Duhling's work is so groundbreaking.
Yeah.
His research on bird hearing loss has led to some really incredible discoveries.
Okay.
Particularly in the area of hearing regeneration.
Wait, birds can regenerate their hearing?
Yeah, isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
So while mammals like us
yeah.
generally can't regrow those sensory cells in our ears once they're damaged,
right.
some bird species can.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
So they're looking at...
Yeah, they're studying the cellular mechanisms behind this regeneration.
Okay.
Looking for clues that could potentially help humans
who
are struggling with hearing loss.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that studying birds could one day lead to treatments.
Yeah.
That could help millions of people regain their hearing.
It really shows you.
It really does.
That scientific breakthroughs can come from the most unexpected places.
Yeah, and it makes you realize. We were talking about his childhood.
Right.
Spending all that time watching pigeons.
Yeah.
It's like all those early experiences planted the seeds
Totally.
for a lifetime of discovery.
And speaking of those early experiences, his pigeon homing experiments, I mean, those were more than just a childhood hobby.
Right.
Those experiments gave him a real foundation.
Yeah.
In observation, data collection, even hypothesis testing.
So that wasn't just pigeons in the garage.
Yeah.
It was like a budding scientist in the making.
Exactly. And it makes you really appreciate the power of hands-on learning.
Totally. Even if it means a few feathers and droppings in the garage.
A little mess never hurt anybody, right?
Right. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
We're diving deep into Dr. Duhling's research. Yeah.
We talked about bird grammar, hearing loss, regeneration.
Right.
What else has he been exploring?
Well, one area that I think is really fascinating is his work on how birds learn their songs.
Okay.
It's a really complex process.
Yeah.
It involves genetics, auditory feedback, and social interaction.
Oh, wow.
And it turns out some birds are much better at learning songs than others.
Oh, so like the virtuosos of the bird world?
Exactly.
The ones with like the complex melodies?
Yes.
The ability to mimic sounds?
I've always been amazed by birds that can perfectly imitate human speech.
Or car alarm?
Or car alarms. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Dr. Duhling's research has shown that some birds have a specific region in their brains that's dedicated to vocal learning.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like a specialized language center, but for birds.
That's so cool.
And what's even more incredible is that this region is actually larger.
Okay.
In birds that are better at learning those complex songs. So it's not just about having the right genes. It's about having the brain power to
really master those intricate vocalizations.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there are parallels in the human brain.
That's a great question. And it's something that researchers are actively investigating.
Oh, wow.
Studying bird brains and their vocal learning abilities.
Yeah.
Could offer some valuable insights into how our own brains process language and learn new sounds.
This whole conversation has like totally changed how I think about birds.
I know, me too.
It's amazing to consider the complexity of their communication.
Yeah.
The intricate structures of their songs and just these remarkable abilities of their brains.
Right.
It makes me wonder if we've been underestimating their intelligence all along.
I think it's safe to say that the term bird brain deserves a reevaluation.
I think so too.
Dr. Duhling's work has really helped to dispel that myth.
Yeah.
That birds are simple creatures.
It seems like he's such a pioneer in his field.
Definitely.
Constantly pushing the boundaries of what we know about bird communication makes me wonder what he considers to be his most significant discoveries.
Well, in an interview, Dr. Duhling mentioned that one of his most intriguing findings was the discovery that birds can actually adjust their songs.
Really?
To compensate for hearing loss.
So, like, they can adapt to their changing sensory world.
It seems like it.
How does that even work?
They can actually change the pitch or the frequency of their song.
Wow.
To make up for the sounds they can no longer hear.
That's amazing.
It's almost like they're fine-tuning their communication to make sure they're still being heard.
It really speaks to their adaptability and the complexity of their communication systems.
It does.
Makes you wonder if we humans could learn a thing or two from birds about adapting to sensory changes.
It really raises some questions.
Yeah.
About how we think about hearing loss in humans instead of just focusing on amplification. Maybe we need to think more about how we can help people adapt their communication strategies.
Yeah.
Make the most of the hearing abilities that they still have.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It seems like Dr. Dueling's research isn't just about birds.
No.
It's about challenging our assumptions about sensory perception, communication, even the potential for regeneration.
Absolutely. And all of that work has earned him the title of National Treasure.
Wow.
Which is a recognition that speaks to the impact and importance of his research.
Yeah, it's a well-deserved title.
It is.
And I think it goes beyond just the scientific discoveries.
I agree.
It's also his dedication to sharing his knowledge, inspiring these new generations of scientists, really advocating for the conservation of birds and their habitats.
He's not just working in the labs. He's out there educating the public about the importance of birds and the threats that they face.
Yeah, habitat loss, noise pollution, all of that.
All of that, it's all connected.
It's a good reminder that science doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's about understanding the world around us.
Absolutely.
And then using that knowledge to make a positive impact.
Exactly. And I think Dr. Dueling's work is such a shining example of how scientific curiosity can lead to these unexpected discoveries that really have the potential to benefit both humans and the natural world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Dr. Dueling, what would you say is his most significant contribution?
I think his legacy will be multifaceted.
Okay.
On one hand, he's made these groundbreaking discoveries about bird communication, challenging these long-held assumptions, expanding our understanding of animal cognition.
But on a deeper level, I feel like his work really inspires us to look at the world with a sense of wonder.
She does.
And to recognize that interconnectedness of all living things.
Absolutely.
His story reminds us that even something as seemingly simple as birdsong can hold the key to unlocking these profound scientific insights.
Yeah, and it really underscores the importance of fostering curiosity.
Yeah.
Both in ourselves and in future generations.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe someday, thanks in part to Dr. Dueling's pioneering work, we'll be able to unlock the secrets of hearing regeneration.
It could happen.
Not just in birds, but in humans as well.
Fingers crossed.
So to our listeners, the next time you hear a bird singing, take a moment to really listen.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
You never know.
This has been The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Reminding you to keep exploring.
Keep asking questions.
Keep asking questions.
And keep listening.
And keep listening to the world around you.
We'll see you next time.
Until next time, dive deep.